Listen, see the left immediately reverse their position on this after how many years of supporting this? Like freaking 50? Like, for those that don't know, President Trump earlier today, he signed an executive order implementing what's called the most favored national prescription drug pricing. And for those that don't know what this is, it basically means, okay, we're sick and tired of being charged these ridiculous prices for a pill, which costs what, like 5 cents to make? If that.
Yeah, no, they're all pennies.
Yeah.
It costs next to nothing to make, but you see, it takes a lot of money to actually research and develop the pills. And so all of the pharmaceutical companies have basically said, oh, well, the United States, they've got to pay all these R&D costs. So we're going to sell it to Indonesians and Swedish people and everybody else in Europe and Asia across the world. We're going to give them all these drugs for pennies on the dollar. And then we're going to make, Americans pay 200 to 400% more bare minimum. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it gets, depending on what kind of pill you're talking about. Yeah. Sometimes it's like 10, 20, like it gets to ridiculous rates where we're paying dozens of times more than other companies on specific pills.
There is like one pill, I gotta look this up. I think there's like one pill as an example, is like $5 in the UK. It'll cost like $800 here or something. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
well, I decided before the stream turned on that I would go look up the medicine that I need to stay alive. And because I've kind of talked about how I had struggles with that in the past because it's so dang expensive. And it's not that I don't have insurance, it's that the insurance refuses to pay for it. So you have to have another company do a co-payment plan. And the previous arrangement I had to have 2 co-payment companies.
Oh,
so there's 3 companies: my insurance company, my primary copay company, and my secondary copay company, all sheltering the cost of this little vial of fluid. And it's for every 100 milliliters, it's like $1,200. But the thing is that you need a lot more than one vial. You need, but depending on how big you are, how tall and how heavy you are, you need like 5 to 10 vials of it. So at the bare minimum, you're paying $6,000 every time you get a treatment.
Jesus.
And I went and I looked up. You know how much that 1,200 vial costs in Australia? It's like 300 to 400.
So a third
or a fourth. There's a handful of European countries that pay half to a third. There's Asian countries that pay like a fifth. It's so fucking ridiculous. And it's a drug where if you don't take it, basically you're either going to be in the hospital every few months or you're going to die. And those are the alternatives. Yeah, and it's
that's insane.
But you get my point, right? It's like, this is a very personal thing for me. And I don't see it as communist price controls. It's just like, look, this ridiculous game that we've had with us paying the R&D costs, this doesn't solve the whole problem. With my specific medication, there's a patent problem, and so we really need to restructure medical patents. But this will reduce the price of my medicine. I may have the financial structuring of my freaking entire medical plan fixed in a year or two based off of this executive order. So it's very, very deeply important to me, and I deeply important to any other kid or adult growing up with an autoimmune disease or something else. We've been fucked over for so long, guys. It's a beautiful thing, and everybody should be celebrating this executive order.
Yeah. I mean, this is insane. I mean, seriously, how can anyone defend this? How? Is this really free market capitalism? Is it really?
No.
Is it really capitalism to say, oh yeah, we're gonna let people die on the street because they can't afford a pill that's freaking 5 cents a make? That's insane.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's actually really funny because they have to monitor you because if your payment structure changes, then the rate of suicidality among people on plans like me rockets up. And I get it, man. There was I went through 3 treatments one year. It was 6 months. I went through 3 treatments where I had the exact same insurance, but the payment plan didn't work anymore because the company wanted to switch brands. It wanted to go to a biosimilar since they were finally on the market. And when my insurance company took it off, the people that give me the medicine, that inject the medicine into me, they didn't tell me for half a year because they didn't know, they didn't care. And then I get a bill. It's like, hey, you owe us $24,000.
Jesus. I mean, like, I don't know. This is not.
I mean, like, if you've ever been on a if you've ever been on a budget before and you were like told, oh yeah, no, your insurance and your payment plan, it's all good. Just, sit back, relax, get this medicine injected into you. Like, if I knew that was like an $8,000 injection, I I either would have ripped the plugs out of my arm, or I would have like found a gun somewhere. It's like, no. Yeah, but that's, I'm not saying it to make it all about me, but it very emotionally touched me, and I don't want people to go through that. People don't deserve to go through that.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us.
I mean, like, and it comes down to, like, they just want to make insane profits. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with making profits, but what these companies are doing now, it's beyond just they're making a small profit margin. These companies make God knows how much each year. Like, I don't want to know how much, like, Pfizer makes a year. I'm kind of scared.
No, it's hundreds of billions of dollars, but the point is, it's not okay. Here's the real story. The real story is that we are the wealthiest nation in the world per capita, and that we have the strongest purchasing power of any nation, and that we have an extensive welfare system, Medicaid, Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act. And all of these systems, money from the government, money from people's pockets because they can afford it, all of this crap culminated in pharma making the decision, listen, we're going to give everybody else a fair price, and we're going to basically completely violate the United States. And we don't care what happens to their patients. We don't care what happens to the insurance companies or the infusion centers or the hospitals. We don't care. We're just going to nickel and dime them until they can barely take it anymore. And look, I mean, you guys look, like, what's the most exploding part of our federal debt, like our federal deficit? It's this medical expense. It keeps getting larger and larger and larger every year. And I looked at it, like the medicine that I'm referring to, that I'm used, it's for my autoimmune disease. It went up over like the course of 8 years. They increased the price by about 70%. It was 68%, but they went up about by 70%. And this wasn't because there was any competition. It wasn't because their product's just the best. It's because of these rules, and because they could raise prices. The manufacturing didn't get more expensive. Nothing got more expensive. They just could charge more. And this is Donald Trump saying, oh, no, you don't get to charge more.
We're talking about, like, life and death. We're not talking about, like, some random thing. This is stuff that can make people can die from this stuff. And Trump's making a point of, like, we're not going to let these companies keep price gouging us. We're not going to keep making these insane profits. Again, there's nothing wrong with profits. They do cool stuff, but should these companies really pocket this much money off each pill? Should they really?
Well, no, at the end of the day, they just need to spread out the cost of their R&D. And yes, their profit margin will go down because they've been exploiting the system and exploiting subsidies. They've been exploiting subsidies from our welfare system, and their profit margin will go down.
I mean, like,
subsidies. Right. That's part of why they can increase the price over and over again, is because the U.S. government will just give them more money. You get it?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. This was never about capitalism. This was never about free trade. This is an exploitation of the realities of the world market and our welfare system. And no, they wouldn't be able to do this. They wouldn't be able to cheat like this if we had no welfare system. But we do, and we live in the real world, and it's not going away, so let's deal with it. And Trump's dealing with it.
All right, let's see. SOVF for 27. By the way, George Lucas is funding Jurassic Park research. Wait, what? Chances raising for 5. John's rant on Israel from stream on February 5th was totally right. By the way, we don't need Kemp in Georgia. He sucks, and Ossoff is very beatable with Carter or Kane as a Republican nominee. We'll look at Israel in a second, because Trump's gonna I think he's gonna actually do it. He's actually gonna do it, but we'll get to that in a second. K-Cup for 2. Hey, but rap. Trump copied Kamala. Price controlled Nixon. That's not what Kamala was pushing for. What she was saying is like, oh, these eggs that we had to increase the price a lot because we killed all the chickens. No, we have to stop that. The price gouging.
Yeah,
no.
Harris wanted actual price controls, actual corporatist, communist price controls. And the main reason you can never do that in a country is because the state is way slower than the market at figuring out the value of an item. The market figures it out pretty quickly because it's just determined by what people are willing to trade. But when you make the government try to figure out what price something should be, they fail. They either fail, or they end up doing what the Soviet Union and Maoist China ended up doing. They peek over the blinds and they stare at other countries, go, hey, what free market country, what price do you have this set at?
So yeah, I mean that's like the way to do it.